1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hey hey, check 1 2 1 2. Check 1 2 1 2. Testing the microphone. 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 Check check.
And can you hear? There we go. There's some mics on. Good. Always takes just a little while for it to warm up. First of all, welcome to the 2022-2023 academic year. It's a pleasure to be with you after 3 years. After 2 years. It's been 3 years ago that we did one of these, at least that I was on stage, and there were people in the audience. The last 2 years, I've always taped a portion And so it's really great to be talking to people and not just a camera back there staring at us. So thanks for coming by. And to all of those that are joining us online, welcome as well. It's good to have you listening in. This presentation will be recorded and will be available on the website as well, off the President's website, after we get it edited and put together a little bit. But thanks for being here. I have to tell you, I'm very excited about this year. Over the last couple of days, we've had some opportunities to meet with students. Last night, we were in here for the opening welcome to our incoming freshmen and transfer students, especially our freshmen. Had a great speaker in here that was asking them about how they eat pancakes with lots of butter or lots of syrup and different types of ways that they eat pancakes, and they were really excited. This is a great group of students. He asked them to engage in some things, and this place just became very, very vibrant. A lot of talking, a lot of things going on. It was fun to see how excited these students are to be here at the University of Northern Iowa. Those of you that are faculty, that are going to have them in your classrooms, I wish you the best. They're a great group, and as are all of our students. Those of you that will interact with these students as advisors in the residence halls, in the various offices across our campus, it's going to be a really great year and a lot of fun to work with this group. We had the Panther marching band at the house last night. That was a little fun, 220-some students at the house. Yeah, it was a little tight. We had them out in the yard. What a great group. Very enthusiastic about being back, about helping the university promote the university, being not only at game day and helping get the dome rocking and also our other events that they play out, men's basketball, women's basketball, volleyball, but also getting out in the community, really being a part of helping us extend our brand across this state. We have a lot of ground to cover today, so I'm going to go right into it and keep things moving just a little bit. Maybe. There we go. A few things that we're going to cover, just major topics here. We've gotten through we need to introduce some new people, our leadership, introduce the new people on campus, talk a little bit about some things that happened last year to remind ourselves what's going on and where we're headed, and then get into what we need to be doing this year and how we can really address some of the enrollment issues that this university and many other universities throughout the Midwest are facing. So with that, let's jump right in. First of all, this university doesn't operate without a large number of leaders, and this group of shared governance leaders are very, very important to us. I want to take just a moment to introduce them to you. Francis Degnan is our chair for the Faculty Senate. Francis is an associate professor in the Department of Philosophy and World Religions. He did this for half the year last year and now is continuing for a full position this year. Layla Masanovic is the president of Northern Iowa Student Government. She's a biology major. Had an opportunity to work with her already throughout a little bit of last year, but especially over the summer. She did a great job of representing our students in this university at the Board of Regents meeting this June when they were considering the first reading of our tuition proposals. Jim Mattingly will be chairing the faculty this year. He did that also last year. Jim is an associate professor in our management program. Shelley Hill will be representing AFSCME. She's a secretary in our housing and dining unit. And Becky Hawbaker is back again as our president of United Faculty. Becky is an assistant professor in the teaching program. And Christina Kofoot will be representing our P&S Council, and she is engaged or employed in our community engagement office as well. To all of these, thank you for your commitment to this university. It takes a lot of work to do these leadership programs, to organize each of your units, to keep the work moving, to be able to talk with administration, to talk with each other, to lead this institution. I want to thank those that served in these roles a year ago. Farah Kashif as the P&S Council President, and John Burnite extended from 1 year into another half year as the chair of the Faculty Senate, and then Sam Bennett, our NISG President. To all of you that engage in these activities, thank you. It makes a big difference on our campus, and it's vital to the operation, and in particular, the forward movement of this university. We have some new faces on campus in leadership roles. Take a moment to introduce. Heather Harbach is joining us. Heather, stand and wave. Yeah, thanks, Heather. Heather is the new Vice President for Student Life, joining us most recently from Edgewood College in Madison, Wisconsin. She's also worked at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, Marquette University, and Mount Mary College as well in the Milwaukee area. Undergraduate degree, baccalaureate degree in political science from the University of Arkansas, master's degree from Oklahoma State in counseling and student personnel, and her doctorate degree from Edgewood in ed leadership. Gabriela Oliveras, Gabby, there, please stand, yeah. Gabby will be serving in an interim role as the Associate VP for Research and also our Dean of the Graduate College. Gabby's undergraduate degree is in English teaching at Catholic University of Chile, master's degree and doctoral degrees from Purdue University in linguistics, Spanish linguistics, and then also teaching languages at the university level. She's had experience here, been on our campus, but also worked at Cleveland State University and taught in public school systems in Musquaki and in Dubuque. Gabby, welcome. Thank you. Pete Morris, the new Director of University Relations, is joining us most recently from Virginia Tech University. He's also served at the University of Oklahoma and with the Kansas City Chiefs in public relations roles. His undergraduate degree is from Loras College, just down Highway 20 to the east, in public relations. Lastly, I introduced Chiquita Lovelace. I saw Chiquita come in. Where's Chiquita at? There's Chiquita. Thank you. Chiquita will be serving as the Director of Diversity, Inclusion, and Social Justice. Chiquita has 23 years experience in the Navy, has been with the university now for about 5 years, 6 years? 5. And got her undergraduate degree in business management at Georgia Gwinnett College, and then her master's degree from St. Leo is an MBA. So welcome to all of these leaders on our campus. Please get to know them. Their interaction across campus is really essential to us. So take a moment to say hi and greet them if you see them walking around our campus or in various meetings. It's great to have all of you here. I want to take a little time to just talk about some of the things that have happened over the last year. One of the things that we'll be looking at, this set of items of our foundational inquiry was introduced. The Cedar Valley degree lengths was an important issue as well. Yep. Let me just go through these kind of quickly. I want to update you on the foundational inquiries I'm going to be talking about just a little bit later. So we'll talk about that later. It's very important to what we're doing to move forward in recruiting students, but also to better serving the students and making sure they've got the education they need to be successful when they leave the university. Cedar Valley degree lengths has been something that we introduced 2 years ago with Waterloo. It's a combination of it's a combination of work with the Waterloo school districts, also with Hawkeye Community College and the university, where we help students move from Waterloo to the community college to the university. What we know is that students are taking at the Career Center at Waterloo, many of their courses are actually courses that are community college courses through Hawkeye. When they graduate with their degree from their high school diploma, many of them already have completed an associate degree through Hawkeye. And so they can very quickly move into the University of Northern Iowa and complete a degree. This past year, we announced a new degree program called a Degree in 3, which is working in education. It's a way for students to get into especially elementary education in a much quicker route by completing some of those courses in high school through Hawkeye and being able to get into the University of Northern Iowa with a full year of courses already taken so that they're ready to move directly into our programs. This summer, we launched 2 new summer camps. The first of these is the Musquaki Summer Camp. This grew out of our work with the Musquaki people in putting together our mission statement around land stewardship. When we first talked about putting together a land stewardship statement, What we decided to do is that it was more important for us to do more than just write a statement. Oftentimes, those make us feel good about the statement, but do little more. We wanted to build a relationship not just with the Musquaki, but with other Native American peoples in the United States, but especially with the Musquaki because they are the Native Americans here in the state of Iowa. We reached out to them and asked them what was important to them. What do they need from us? How can we partner on things? Out of that grew the mission stewardship statement, or more importantly, a relationship grew. Part of that relationship was they asked us, you used to have a summer camp for Musquaki children. We really appreciated that. It made a difference to us and to our students. Could you bring it back? So this summer, we launched the Musquaki Summer Camp. It's for students in the 8th grade through the middle school and high school ages. We had 20 students on campus, engaged in various activities from art to healthcare to science. Really a tremendous opportunity for these students to grow educationally, to grow professionally, to grow personally. Tremendous opportunity for us to get to know these students, to engage these students on our campus, to have them hear and understand what an education is like here at the University of Northern Iowa. Tremendous outreach opportunity for us. Another summer camp that we had was the Black Life Youth Camp. And it is a collaboration between the Iowa African American Heritage Trail and Fort Pan, Iowa. These young people were elementary students and middle school students. It gave them the opportunity to preserve African American history by engaging with photographs, images, and then developing stories from those so that they better understood their heritage, better understood Black life in the state of Iowa and across the United States. Again, an opportunity to be on our campus, for them to grow personally, to grow educationally, but also for them to understand what it's like to be a student here at the University of Northern Iowa and to get an education here at the university. I'll also talk about UNI at Iowa Community Colleges a little bit later. And one of the things that I want to take a little bit of time and encourage all of you to do this year, we've got a climate survey coming out. It was recommended to us by the President's Advisory Committee on Inclusion, Social Justice, and Advocacy that we expand what we've been doing with our climate survey. That the new climate survey, we should engage an outside agency to really go beyond simply sending out a survey. So we've engaged with Rankin and Associates, who's been doing climate surveys on campuses for more than 20 years. The work started when Sue was a professor at Penn State and started doing these on her campus and has grown to a national organization and one of the few that does these climate surveys. Her people have been on campus, they've done listening sessions with students, with faculty, with staff, and helped get a better understanding of what this campus is like and what the climate is like already. Those are very deep conversations. This fall, we're going to be launching a survey. It'll be open to all of our students and to all of our faculty and staff. I encourage all of you to engage in that survey and to answer the questions, provide your feedback. As importantly, encourage your students to engage in that survey. If you're a faculty member, when this thing opens up, please in your classes announce it. Tell them how important it is that we have their feedback so that we can understand what's going on for them on this campus. And we can make adjustments, changes, impact their education through the input that they provide through this survey. If you're an advisor, if you're someone that meets with students informally, let them know that it's open. Let them know that it is important for them to engage in this survey so that we can get the best set of data possible. The more people that respond to this, the more robust the data, the better we're going to be able to serve the students here at the University of Northern Iowa, not just today, but into the future. Please look for the announcements around the climate survey that will be coming out this fall. It is an important part of what we're doing to improve how we serve our students. At every campus, there are always some challenges in front of us. Finding a way to meet those challenges is what's really important for a university, looking forward. The major challenge that our university is facing at the moment, like many others in the country, is enrollment. This slide shows you a little bit about what's happened over the last 5 years with enrollment in all of the higher education sectors, from 2-year public institutions to 4-year public institutions, private institutions, for-profit and nonprofit. And what you can see is that over the last 5 years, every higher educational sector has seen enrollment declines. What we see here in the state of Iowa is that the number of kids that are graduating from high school who go on to college has dropped significantly. In the last 5 to 6 years, the percentage of students going on to colleges out of high school has dropped from 76% to 66%, a 10 percentage point decline. That's over 3,500 students fewer coming out every single year. Over a 4-year educational timeline, that's nearly 14,000 students. That's a big change in the environment of higher education. We also know that higher education doesn't have the same, so we say, shine that it used to have. We don't hear about how important it is to get to a university, to get to a college, to get a degree. Our economy right now is incredibly hot. Students have the opportunity to take jobs straight out of high school. And that's good right now, but later, we know that that will limit their opportunities in the future. We also know that they're much more likely to be laid off when the economy does slow down. It always happens. So we are facing some real headwinds as a university. All universities are. These headwinds have in particular impacted community colleges. They've also impacted universities like ours, comprehensive universities, regional comprehensives. Of 20 regional comprehensives in the Midwest, only 4 of them have showed positive enrollment gains. The other 16 were all down in enrollment, one by as much as 40%, just in the last 8 to 10 years. So it's having an impact across the state, across our country. There are regional areas where enrollments are growing. They're not in the Midwest. Right? We need to realize that while this looks like a huge challenge, and it is, it presents us an opportunity to think differently about what we do as a university and what we need to be doing to get more students into the universities, to prepare them for the jobs that are available in this state, to make sure that they've got the education to be able to keep our economy moving forward, to make sure they have the education they need to be successful in their, not just careers, but in their personal lives as well. We've seen also that there is a significant enrollment decline here on our campus. We have to address this issue. It's important for us to take this on head on. Most of what you're going to hear from this point forward is about how things that we're doing to address the issues of enrollment here at the University of Northern Iowa. We have noticed one thing in our data for this fall, and I can add some updates to the numbers on this particular slide. As we look at the transfer numbers from as we look at the numbers of new students coming in or transferring in from Iowa's community colleges, what we are seeing is that, number one, transfers from Iowa community colleges are up a total of about 16 percentage points, 16%. For those students that are transferring to the University of Northern Iowa from one of the Iowa community colleges that are part of the UNI at Iowa Community Colleges program, they're standing now, that number is up now 34%. For those coming from Iowa community colleges that aren't part of that program, it's up 7%. Our work with the UNI at Iowa Community College is paying dividends in recruiting students, not just into the online programs, but into our programs here at the university. We're seeing a growth in direct transfers from those institutions in particular. But because we have gotten a lot of information out about our work with the community colleges, about the changes in our general education program to create Unify, and that allows students who have an AA or an AS degree to come to the university and be ready to go into their major and not have general education requirements left. We're seeing an increase in our transfer rates from Iowa community colleges in particular. Overall, our transfer students, including Iowa community colleges, but also from the other universities and colleges in the state, and from out of state is up about 12% at this point. We're rapidly growing that transfer population, which is very good news. A little bit of effort to get our name out across the state and into other states is paying some dividends. I want to thank the people in enrollment management and admissions for their work in our community colleges to grow our connection to these institutions. The work that Paul Sapp has done at Des Moines Area Community College has been vital to this kind of growth. As we look forward, we have several things that we're going to be doing over this year in particular to prepare for our future, to make sure that our enrollment does turn around and continue to grow, to make sure that we have in place the things we need to be a vibrant and growing university. At this time, I'm going to ask Jose to come forward and give us an update on academic positioning. This is a vital program to us. As you know, the academic positioning is something that is for us to actually identify those programs that have the most opportunity for us to grow, but also meet the needs of the state of Iowa in terms of new growing fields. Jose?
Thank you, President Nook. First and foremost, good morning. This is a wonderful opportunity. It's great to see people out in the audience. I think last year we did this, there were maybe a couple of crickets hanging out in the hallways. It's great to see people back. It's great to see some faculty back. It's important that, as the President said, that we address some of these challenges. And of course, we've been undergoing this process of what we're referring to as academic positioning for quite some time now. Lots of people have been involved, and of course, if I said all of their names, we'd be here for the rest of the presentation. But I do like to get some sense and give you some sense of all the people that have been involved, particularly those that are in the steering committee. Of course, Patrick Pease. Patrick, you're in the audience here. If you could stand up a little bit, just to get some recognition. I think this is a lot of lifting that's going on with academic positioning, and certainly Patrick has done his fair share of lifting. Jennifer Waldron, even though she's not here, we wished her well, but boy, she was also doing some of that heavy lifting. The deans, of course, leading some of these initiatives. Alicia Rosberg, Danielle McGough, Janet Croft, Jennifer Cooley, Josh Seabree, Mark Hesimovich, Nathan Bird, Bill Henninger, Amanda McCandless. You know, I can go on, but these are the folks that were on the steering committee that really played a vital role in getting us to the position that we are in now. The position that we are in now is on the precipice of making some very important changes to the institution. As you'll see that we've already started healthcare and health sciences as a particular field. I think that we're now very excited about bringing in candidates for a chief academic nurse for nursing. Those positions, and this is next week, is that right, Patrick? So next week we'll bring in 3 candidates. They all look great on paper. We're hoping that we can get a great leader to get that program up and running within the health sciences. And of course, health sciences is a much broader umbrella, and we're hoping to make these structural changes that will take place next academic year. But we need help in doing that. There are lots of benefits of doing this. Probably the most salient one is to make sure that your program, if it's anything to do with healthcare, is lifted up. And we can see it, and the students, prospective students, and students here at the university can see it much easier. We also have initiatives in advising. We're inviting NACADA, which is the national organization, to help us out with some of this. What should we be doing with advising? What kind of organizational structures should we be putting in place to have this happen effectively and efficiently? Alternative credentials and data science. These are all things that we're firmly entrenched now, that we're building up toward next year to roll out some of the programmatic functions. I think many of us are also excited about this year, because here we roll out the next set of emerging pathways that we talked about last year. Some emerging pathways have already started. In fact, I've been very pleased to see all of the changes that have been initiated already by some of the deans on some of these programs. Educator preparation and some of the innovations that are going in these pathways have been key to our successes. So I've been taking a look with some smiles at some of the increases that have been going on over the last few weeks on things like the Purple Pathway. And we've been getting some very strong interest from the community, particularly out in the West, about those educational pathways. A degree in 3 allows students to start in high school level to get their degree in 3 years, their undergraduate degree. Very successful program in other places. Bringing it here, I think, will increase the likelihood that students attend UNI and become Panthers. And then teacher education, curricular transformation. This is something that the dean is leading that allows us to see the benefits of having students that are non-traditional and forge non-traditional pathways into University of Northern Iowa. These are all changes that are somewhat painful. They're painful because we have to do new things in new and different ways. And some of them may not work. But I'm here to tell you that we have to make sure that we keep trying new things, because like the Purple Pathway, if we don't try them, we'll never know if they were successful or not. We're also very excited about applied engineering. I think Michael shared with me a link about a video. I can't remember who shared it with me, but it was wonderful to see the video of the building being put up. And so as you click on that video, you'll get to see the bulldozers move back and forth. And we hope that over the next year, that building will come up for applied engineering, and we'll be able to attract students that might have considered Iowa State, for example, or other engineering programs, to at least give applied engineering a consideration. You may know that we've now changed the name of the department, and that's now the Department of Applied Engineering and Technical Management. We think that this is, again, an outward-facing change that will allow students and their families to consider the institution to make sure that they get the competencies that they want to get a good-paying job in lots of different fields. We put together some programs, Automation Engineering Technologist 1. We hope that there will be other considerations as we move forward to get other programs underway. This is one that we think will attract students, again, to this emerging field. And I also just yesterday had some really in-depth conversations about sustainability and what we're going to be doing. There are several proposals that are floating about that I think have some element of merging together, perhaps, and forming something that will be useful, again, outward-facing to the community that would attract students into this very vital field. There are things that I think are very important, not necessarily in the short term, but in the longer term, and I think we're undertaking some of those initiatives. It's not on the slide here, but just yesterday, Dr. Kristen Woods reminded me that our relationship with EAB has just started as of yesterday. So they are now cultivating additional applications so that we are able to attract attention from those students that would not otherwise considered the University of Northern Iowa. That's an exciting initiative. I hope that it starts yielding additional applications. Really, that's where one of our gaps has been historically. I think we can do a little bit better, and I think that should show up in the number of students that show up at our door in August of next year. I've also asked folks from IT, so thank you to the folks at IT that are partnering with us to make sure that we have a good storyboarding experience as those students come into the application process. This is a key element of how students first engage with an institution. If you don't have that experience be engaging in some way and relevant, I think we have students that drop out. And so thank you for all the folks that have been involved in enrollment, IT, and graduate school. All of these units within the university have been trying to work at trying to storyboard our application process a little bit better. Again, I think these are things that will, in the long term, yield lots of benefits and results for us. We're also streamlining pathways for graduate programs. I think graduate programs are, again, one of the things and one of the challenges we have to tackle head on. There are lots of things that are going on. I've been asking the deans, Colleen and the graduate school and Gabby, I've been asking them to think clearly about what kinds of programs that would attract students that we have not had historically attracted. The Masters of Arts in Interdisciplinary Studies is kind of a degree completion program that I think will yield results from students that maybe can't come to campus but want a graduate degree. A Master of Arts in Teaching also is one of those programs that almost all regional comprehensive institutions offer to some degree or another. It offers that possibility for students that are in some other field and want to come back and contribute to their community by teaching. This is another way that they can do so by getting a master's degree. We also have to centralize our communications with all of these students. When I first arrived, I noticed that there were communication streams for all of these graduate programs, but they were very different depending on the program. So we need a streamlined experience that is much more responsive to the needs of those students. We need to do that in a timely fashion, 24, 48 hours. This is the common state-of-the-art experience that most students are now expecting. We also have to grow our own. That is, that we have to make sure that we focus on the students that we have. If we look at our data set, we know that students that are coming in and graduating with an undergraduate degree jump into our graduate program. So why not cultivate our own programs? I've been talking to Dean Olivares to see if we can do something like that over the next year or two. We've done some things like being test optional. I think that will increase the number of students that consider UNI. And test optional on the front end and also on the back end, so that there are some tests that teachers would have to take in order to get. So some of those are now going optional. So we're trying to streamline the processes and the barriers that prevent us from getting students and getting the students out into the community to take a job. I've been also very excited to get a group of us together to talk through about how we allocate scholarships. And this is something that we've been doing at OBO, we've been doing with data and trying to understand how it is that we allocate dollars out to the students that have accepted our offer to come and be Panthers. That takes a little bit of math, a little bit of forethought, and a little bit of thinking about what the dollar and the return on that investment on that scholarship dollar. I think we have a plan in place to get us to a position where we're spending those dollars a little bit more effectively and a little bit more efficiently. We hope to see some of the results of those experiments, for lack of a better word, in the next 2 or 3 months. So stay tuned for that. And then lastly, this is something that I've been talking to the deans about, that we have, roughly speaking, about 500 and some odd faculty here and just about as many staff. There are lots of things, over 90 programs or so. And if you start thinking that if any one of those individual faculty or staff just is responsible for getting one additional application or one additional student, we wouldn't be in a position as bad as we were this year or last year. So this is a challenge that we all need to undertake. That is, we have to be responsible saying, can I get one more application, one more student to apply to UNI, one more student to attend UNI? I think this is something that you'll hear the president talk about a little bit later. That is, what can we be doing as individuals? I want to leave you with that message, because it really takes this community, it takes this family to make sure that we push that arrow back in the right direction. To do that, it doesn't happen with hundreds of students. It doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen with you taking some responsibility, as well as the provost taking some responsibility, saying, how can we get one more application that we didn't have last year to come and try to be a Panther? That's an exciting, and it's a shift of mentality. I hope that I have some support from most of you to understand that we have to do it all together. I'm excited about this year. I got to interact with the students as well. I got excited in butterflies talking to the cheerleaders at about 7:45 in the morning. I said, can you give me a little bit of that energy that you have? These are all conversations that we can get excited about. We're doing things for the right reasons. It's just a matter of, can we get a few more applications in the door. We're really good at converting those applications into Panthers. We just have to get a few more applications in the door. And with that, I want to turn it over back to the President to finish off the presentation.
Thank you, Jose. As Jose said, a lot of things going on. We need to look at our enrollment holistically, not just how do we get students to apply, but what are we offering for academic programs? Are they the programs that students are excited about coming to an institution and partake in? We know that many of our students that choose to go to another institution are going there because we don't have the program, or because they don't know we have the program, which is, again, something we need to communicate better. What we have seen over the last couple of years is that we have grown some really important academic programs. The new program in applied automation is one. The College of Business just had approved a program in data analytics that is another area that students are looking for, prospective students are looking for. We had an online program, a 2+2 program, just launched in human services, and we've already filled that to capacity, and we just announced it late in the spring, really early summer. These programs, it's important that we continue to innovate and think about what are the programs that the state needs, but what are the programs that students are very, very interested in as well. So thank you, Jose, for the work that you're doing to lead the academic positioning work, our academic affairs program. This is vital and essential to our growth as a university. We have talked a little bit about Unify, and rather than try to read all the names of the people that were involved in creating our new, I hate to say new general education program because it really isn't that. It's bigger, it's different, and it's better. It is UNI's foundational inquiries, and here's the list of people that have been engaged in this over the last few years. As you can see, it has been a big effort by a lot of people on our campus, touching all aspects of our campus. Great leadership in this, and now the program's under Jeremy Schraffenberger is leading it on our campus at the moment, moving forward, helping roll it out. What we found is that when we rolled this out, the new requirements, that we had a handful of students that were actually done with their degree, could graduate at that very moment. We've also seen a real increase in the students from our Iowa community colleges and other transfer students who see, one, how effective this is, what it could mean to them, but more importantly, don't do that. More importantly, what it could mean for how quickly they can get through and get into the job market. This isn't about cutting time. It really is about putting in place a great educational foundation for our students, making sure that they get the skills and the knowledge and the habits of mind that will make them great college students, great people once they graduate and move into their careers. It does, however, make it a little bit easier for them to move through because it did shorten the time just a little bit. But it isn't about being easy. It's about making sure they've got the education they really need to be successful. And they've got some ability to shape that education. So to everyone that has worked on this, thank you. It has already made a difference in what we're able to do to recruit students, but more importantly, will have a long-term impact on what we can do to improve the quality of the education that students have when they leave this institution. The United Iowa Community Colleges program has been an extremely important one. We announced it, launched it this summer. It is an outgrowth of the UNI at DMAC work that we've been doing for a couple of years. This year, what we're doing is expanding that out to 3 additional institutions, one at Western Iowa Tech in Sioux City, Iowa Western Community College in Council Bluffs, and Indian Hills Community College in Ottumwa, Iowa. What we're really trying to do is address 3 important goals for students. What we've recognized at DMAC and at these other institutions is that there are place-bound students who would need a 4-year degree to be able to get into the jobs and careers that they'd like to and that are growing in their communities, but they have no way to get that. They are place-bound because they're 28, 29, 35 years old. They own homes, they have families. There's no way they can come to Cedar Falls or one of the other region institutions. They may not have access to a 4-year education in their communities. But we can take our online programs to them quickly. They're already available to them. But many of them face 2 other barriers. One of those is support. We've all gotten a little better at being online. But not everybody can handle an online education. These students are used to getting their education at a community college. They know where to park. They know who to ask questions of. They know the resources that are available. What we're doing to pull that support barrier down is to put a student success specialist on each of these campuses. We've already hired one at Western Iowa Tech. We'll be doing the same in Council Bluffs and in Ottumwa. These people will help them understand what it takes to be successful at the University of Northern Iowa. They'll recruit students not just for this program, but for direct transfer to the university. The other barrier that many of these face is while they figured out how to pay for a community college education, the difference between that price and our price is more than they can figure out how to handle. And so we've worked with the governor to get a grant that will cover over the next couple of years. There are American Rescue Plan funds, federal funds, at $4.166 million. Some of this is to support faculty, to help them grow the programs that we have, to support the faculty that are teaching in the program, but also to offer scholarships to these students. More than $3 million is to help offset for students who have financial need the difference between the cost of our education and theirs. So that we still receive the funds and can still support these students, but the students are going to pay a smaller amount for the degree. So we relieve the barrier of location, we relieve the barrier of support, and we relieve the barrier of cost. It's one of the reasons this program is growing as fast as it is. At DMAC, we have twice as many students in that program this past year as we were expecting at this time. We're already seeing these programs fill up at the other institutions. But we're also seeing direct transfers, especially from those 4 community colleges, because we're present, because they've heard about us. So there is a win here for those students in particular. There's a win for those community colleges because there's more interest in those students at those community colleges. There's a big win for us because we have students now on our campus, directly on our campus, because they know more about us and hear us more often. And we have students we're growing our enrollment in our online programs because of this program. We're actively looking at how quickly we can grow out to many of the other community colleges within the state of Iowa. It's been good to see the faculty and staff respond, creating new programs that are 2+2 that take advantage of knowing that students that have an AA or an AS degree can move quickly into these programs and get a 4-year degree. I want to talk a little bit about future visioning and our strategic planning. A few years ago, we took a long look at the university and we asked a group of people to look out and say, what's the university need to be, not next year or 5 years from now, but 35 years after our 150th birthday anniversary in 2026. And they came back with a purpose statement, and it's a really great purpose statement, and you can see it here. The University of Northern Iowa's purpose is to enrich lives, communities, and the world through the students, faculty, and staff, and alumni. They also created 3 how statements. How do we do that? How do we achieve that purpose? And briefly there, we create, we empower, and we innovate. But there really, we create innovative learning environments. We empower people to engage with their communities, and we innovate solutions to the problems of the day. This vision statement and purpose and how and the 6 why statement, the 6 what statements, what we do that lay underneath that, serve as a backbone for the next several strategic plans to tie them together. Strategic, and that's what this slide illustrates, that as we move forward, we know that we're going to be dealing with things like enrollment pressures. We know we're going to be confronting educational debt. We know that we're going to be helping serve the needs of our community. As we look at a long-term strategic plan, how do we use our vision statement? We use all of that work on our purpose, on our hows, and on our whats to tie each of the next several strategic plans together. The university's Strategic Planning Coordinating Council oversees each of those strategic plans and watches this process. How are we doing on the metrics? And then hands that data to the Strategic Planning Committee to create a strategic plan. The Strategic Planning Committee met this last year, created a strategic plan after talking to people across our campus. The vision and mission statements are here. They also created a set of 4 important goals, overarching goals. Underneath that are some strategies to reach those goals and some underlying goals. And we're in the process of creating really solid metrics to see how we're doing. This is the plan for 2023 to 2028. We don't have it up on the website. It has been approved by the Board of Regents in the spring. We'll have it completed and up in time for its launch in January of 2023 with new metrics, and we'll have a report on our current 2017-2022 strategic plan soon. So I want to thank especially the University Strategic Planning Coordinating Council for the work they've done in creating metrics for our current plan, helping us track those and follow them every semester at the university, and then preparing this, helping get the Strategic Planning Committee set up to effectively create the next strategic plan for the university. As we created that strategic plan, the strategic plan will govern everything we do and especially guide us in enrollment. And what we have created are 2 new master plans, a strategic enrollment master plan and a strategic marketing plan. I want to spend just a little time on the strategic enrollment master plan. This is a 5-year look, much like the strategic plan. How do we grow enrollment? It's essential. The goals of that are to grow our market share of new students, especially among students coming out of high school, to grow our transfer population, and to grow our graduate population as well. In the next 5 years, between now and 2028, to grow our freshman student population, the new entering freshmen, to 2,175 students. Number of new transfers coming in to 900. This year we're expecting 750. It's a growth from about 630 a year ago. To grow our graduate student population, new students to 350. Okay? 530, sorry about that, turn them around, 530. So you can see that it is a real step forward. We've tied it to the marketing plan. We want to grow our retention rate to 85%. Grow our 4-year graduation rate to 50%. It'll put us in very rare company for a regional comprehensive. We already are. Grow our 6-year graduation rate to 70%. We've talked about that over the years, and everybody's a little worried. 70%, that seems unrealistic. Last year we were close to 69%. It's within reach. It's going to take some work, but it's within reach. In the end, if all of these pieces come together, we'll have an enrollment in 2028 of about 11,000 people. So students. It takes time. We grow really through freshmen and transfers. We can't grow the institution very quickly. We're going to do it in a smart way, in a systematic way. We have already tied our marketing plan to growing these enrollments, to recruiting new freshmen, to recruiting transfers, and to recruiting graduate students. But we need new programs, academic programs. We need new support programs that students can see as vital to their education here and will attract them to the university. That's why the academic positioning work is so important. We're also launching a comprehensive campaign to support these ideas. Many of you will notice, as Jose already mentioned, that we are in the process of renovating and expanding the Applied Engineering building. We'll also start a renovation of this building in the spring, groundbreaking in the spring, and hope to have this building completed by the fall of 2024. That building also ready to open in the fall of 2024. While this room itself won't be changed much, we will have new seating in here, including cup holders, I've been told, which would be really helpful in many cases, but a new lounge area off the side and really improved customer service. It's exciting to have these sorts of things going on. Students and people notice. It helps beautify our campus. It helps us recruit students and bring more people to our campus. We will launch the campaign, the capital campaign, at homecoming. A lot of big events going on. One of those is going to be, we'll have the Bell Foundry on wheels on campus. We're going to pour, at the base of the campanile, we're going to pour 7 new bells for the UNI campanile. There'll be 2 more that will be created back at the foundry. They're too large to be poured at that in the mobile foundry. So we'll pour them at night, and then we'll break the molds open on Saturday morning, and then polish them all up. We're also going to be pouring a commemorative bell for that event as well. So a whole bunch of activity are on homecoming week around launching this campaign. Don't want to let the number out yet, but I can tell you at this point we've already raised $183 million in the last 5 years towards that campaign. Over the last 3 years, have been the most successful fundraising years in this campus's history. All of those 3 years have been over $35 million raised. One of them was over $40 million. Jim and crew and really deans, people across this campus have all been engaged in this fundraising. It's been really fun to watch this happen as we've recruited people, current donors, but also donors that we haven't had a relationship with in the past, to step up and help the University of Northern Iowa in this essential campaign. It'll support student scholarship, it'll support student engagement and community engagement, support faculty, support new program development. It'll also support some of these buildings. We call them iconic spaces, from adding bells to the Campanile, renovating the Gallagher Blue Dorn, renovating the Applied Engineering Building, and renovating the Unidome, which will be 50 years old in 2026 at our anniversary. So an exciting time as we launch the campaign. Oops, I meant too far. So what are the things that we can all do to help? This summer, we had a leadership retreat in May. As part of that leadership, the whole leadership retreat was focused on what can we do to change our enrollment picture? What can we do to change our enrollment picture? And there were several key items that came out of that, and I want to share them with you because we're going to be working on these this year. And you will see that you've already heard about some of them. They've already been put in place. Many of them need our attention as we move forward this year. Some curricular and programmatic innovations. That's really at the heart of the academic positioning work. But there are other things that we can be working on as well. What do we do for offering courses in the summer and winter? It's an opportunity for students to engage with this campus. We have resources. We know some students are looking for those short courses. What can we do? How can we make sure that we've got good hands-on learning opportunities for all of our students? Students that are engaged in hands-on learning are more likely to stay, and it's the kind of experience that they're looking for coming out of high schools. We need to shorten the timeline to completion where we can and where it makes great sense to do so, expanding our 3+2 and our 4+1 offerings, both on our campus but also with partner schools. What we've done with the UNI at Iowa Community Colleges is a great example of ways that we have shortened the pathline and opened and broadened the pipeline for students to enter the University of Northern Iowa. In addition, we need to widen that pipeline, ways to get students in to this, and we need to tap into our alumni network and help them help us recruit students. We have teachers in every single school district in this state except for one, at the last time I had it checked. We had alumni teachers in every single county of this state. They're a tremendous resource. At the state fair this last week, we had a special packet for anybody that was a teacher, whether they were a UNI alum or not. Those were a pretty hot item. People were asking for them. And they included a pennant. They included other swag for the classroom. People are putting these up around the state to help people, our prospective students, understand and learn more about the University of Northern Iowa. We need to create a more welcoming environment. One of the things that we need to really understand is that every single interaction that we have on this campus with somebody that doesn't work here is a recruitment effort, is a retention effort, is an effort to helping that student get here, get a great education, and graduate from this institution. Every single interaction. Whether it's coming to a performance here in the Gallagher Blue Dorn and sitting with people who are my age and older, they talk to friends. They talk to grandchildren. They talk to children. They talk to other people. The interactions that we have at athletic events. Every single person that comes into one of our event areas is learning something and forming an opinion about the University of Northern Iowa. Every student that walks onto this campus forms an opinion about what it's like to be here the minute they drive in the parking lot, the minute they walk to the Campanile, the minute they meet one of us on the sidewalk and asks us a question, or we choose to smile at them or not even pay attention to their existence. All of those send a message about what it's like to be a student here, what it's like to be an employee here. We have to make sure that we're aggressively handling and thinking about our commitment to recruiting students and making this a welcoming place for everyone, addressing the microaggressions that we know occur, addressing all of the things that help us put forward the kind of welcoming environment that we hope to have on this campus. Everybody should feel that. We need to improve our retention, graduation, and completion rates. We talked a little bit about the strategic enrollment management plan and what those goals are. How can we do that? And here are some examples that came forward in the leadership retreat that we'll be working on building those out. What can we do? I want to spend just a little time talking about the rugby team. This is unique. We talk about athletics a lot, but the rugby team is not an NCAA sport. It's a student organization here at the University of Northern Iowa, a student org. They're a club team, men's rugby and women's rugby both. The women's rugby team you can see in the top panel and the men's rugby on the bottom, and I'll talk about Aubrey Bursch just a little bit. Our women's rugby team this year, they have a coach. There's no scholarships. They play for fun. They play in what's known as the Premier League in rugby, which means most of the teams they play are supported by their university, offer scholarships, and have full-time coaches. This fall, they finished second in the nation in the national tournament. They are a team that doesn't have that level of support. They play for fun, and they play very, very well. Aubrey Bursch was on that team, and now this summer, she got the opportunity to play on the under-23 national team for the United States in a series of games against Canada. She had a great time. She's an elementary ed and early childhood development student that loves to play the sport of rugby. Never played before she got here. We have 2 incoming students, women students, female students that are going to play rugby for us, and this summer they played on the under-18 team. They're coming here because of our rugby team. They're coming here because of our student organization called Rugby. Our student orgs have a tremendous opportunity for us to recruit students, whether they're an organization that deals with athletics like a rugby team, or whether they're an organization like Black Student Union that will celebrate its 50th anniversary this year. All of these student organizations have a tremendous power to help us recruit these students. Our men's rugby team finished 4th in what's known as the 15s in the fall. This spring, they took the bronze medal in the 7s. Tremendous, again, no scholarships, playing against scholarship teams. Just a tremendous opportunity for us to continue to build out and highlight what our students do on their own, the commitment they make to their education, to their health, to this community. It's fun to watch these sorts of things happen. It's important for us to recognize that our student organizations and everything that we do and the opportunities we make available have an impact on our ability to recruit students, to retain those students, to graduate those students, and to have alumni that are leaders in their community, leaders in their profession, and great community members. So it's important for us to look at holistically our university. With that, one, thank you for everything that you do. It's tremendous to be able to work here and to work with you. As I said in the opening remarks, and as Jose mentioned, we've had the opportunity to meet with several of the students already, from the cheer team and the dance team, the Panther marching band, all these new freshmen that we're in, several other student groups that we've seen around. Yesterday I had lunch with the Jumpstart kids, students, and their mentors. What an engaging opportunity. These students have been here a week already, learning what it takes to be successful on this campus. Their mentors in particular were sharing stories about what they learned in Jumpstart and what it's meant to them here. But there's many of these Jumpstart students that have gone through Jumpstart that are now alumni. People like Skylar Mayberry May, who talks about how important Jumpstart was to him to finding a place here. And he talks about you and I from that position. So many of the alums that came from minority backgrounds, underserved backgrounds, come through Jumpstart, and it has a huge impact on their success here. They don't talk about that necessarily, occasionally. They talk about the impact it's had on their lives, personally and professionally. What we do here matters, and it matters in a big way to all of these students, but it matters to us as colleagues. The way that we work together, the way we engage, builds a community here for our students, but also for us. It is a pleasure and a real honor for me to work with you. I really enjoy working with the faculty and staff here because you are committed to helping all of these students meet their educational goals, their professional goals, and their personal life goals. That's why so many of them move into these leadership positions in various businesses and industries, but more importantly, maybe as importantly, in their communities and in community organizations. So thank you for your commitment to these students. Thank you for your commitment to each other, to make this a great place to work, a great place to live, a great place to get an education. Look forward to this year. It's going to be an exciting year. I've already seen the freshmen. We need to hang on just a little bit. They're coming at us. They're a great group, like all of our students. Thanks again, and have a great 2022-2023. Thank you.